I'm Michael Rosenblum, Executive Chef and Residence Manager for the U.S. Ambassador in Beijing, China. Come on in. Welcome to the residence. Today we're going to teach you authentic American cuisine. Let's go. Crab cakes. One of those classic American dishes that you find up and down the East Coast in the summer months. One thing we really like to do here is to surprise the guests that come to the ambassador's residence. So we take something that they may be familiar with, but we either change the ingredients or change the presentation style, so constantly keep people guessing. So the first step is we want to take our egg whites and beat them just lightly until they get frothy. So we've got 3 egg whites here. And the reason that is to loosen up the proteins a little bit. That's going to make beating them to stiff peaks later on a little bit easier, save time down the road. So our egg whites are beaten gently. Now it's time to season our crab meat. The key to making great crab cakes is to use the best quality crab that you can find. We're going to start with a little bit of mayonnaise. We like to use a mayonnaise that's not too sweet. To this we're going to add a little bit of Dijon mustard, salt, white pepper, just a touch. And then we're going to finish with our fresh chopped parsley. And I like to put a lot of parsley in here. It also adds a really nice variation of color. So we have the white from the crab and a beautiful jade green, makes the dish nice and bright. Now we're using these small ring molds. We're going to coat them with just a little bit of fresh breadcrumbs that we've made from some old bread. And that's going to provide a perfect barrier to keep our crab from sticking to the mold when it comes out of the oven. So we've got our molds prepared now. We're going to put this pan on a medium heat just to heat up enough that it gives us time to prepare our egg whites. And that's going to ensure when we put our molds in, we're working with a hot pan. If it's cold when you put the crab cakes in, they might stick. So now we're going to beat our egg whites to a medium stiff peak. And that's going to give it enough spring when it hits the hot oven that they rise like a nice souffle. Next step is we want to take about 1/3 of our egg whites and mix them into the crab. If we put them in all at once, it's going to deflate. So this is already much lighter than it was. And now we're going to add this entirely into the beaten egg whites that remain. Okay, the crab cake batter is ready. Our skillet's nice and hot, so we're going to bring that over. Put in our thin layer of olive oil. We're going to place our molds inside. That butter's already starting to melt, so we want to work fast. And now we're going to gently just spoon the crab mixture inside the mold. And we don't want to press it down too much because we want it to look nice and natural. Perfect. Okay, molds are full. Back on the heat. We're only going to leave it here for a minute or so. As soon as you start to hear that sizzle and see those small bubbles coming out from around the mold, that's from the melted butter. We know it's time to put it in the oven. Now we're going to make a really simple vinaigrette to dress some of these herbs and greens that we have. Okay, so we're going to start with a little bit of fresh lemon. And we're going to roll that on the board just to release the juice. Season this with a little bit of salt, a touch of white pepper, and drizzle in our olive oil. Good rule of thumb is about 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. Done. Baked perfectly. Nice and light, they puffed up like a souffle in the oven, really giving a true meaning to the cake part of crab cake. And while we're waiting for them to cool, we're going to dress our greens. Now that is a great American crab cake.